Hey, it's the King of Connecticut, and I'm down here in Miami, Florida, with the champ herself.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's your girl Natalie. We got a little Salvi in the house too. I don't know if you guys can see him, but he's the mascot for taking no shit.
That's right, taking no shit, and it's coming. Celebrity boxing.
October 2nd, it's in Miami. It's going down. We'll be fighting some chick. I think her name's Maria. Yeah. So, little MMA chick. You know, she's never. I don't know if she's what her expertise are, but I do hear that she did train with Holyfield for a little period of time. That doesn't intimidate me, but I'm looking forward to knocking her head back like the rest. So it should be a good time.
Awesome. Now, Natalie, the last time that we were together down here in South Florida.
Why don't we tell them really how we met? How the stand-up guy are. This guy's a stand-up fucking guy.
I appreciate it. Now, I got to tell you, I was hosting celebrity boxing in Fort Lauderdale, and I had kind of a strange experience from the very beginning, getting my room. I had to deal with Christine, Kern, to get my room. It was at a different hotel. It was all confusing. Now, she knew I was coming down. And it was an odd experience, to say the least, hosting that celebrity boxing. It seemed like it was a little bit disorganized, but I had a great time. There was a lot of vodka, that's for sure.
Yeah, there was a lot of vodka. In the beginning of the day, as the day was progressing, you and I had run into each other before we got introduced. And it was like I was coming out of the elevator, and he was like, yo, and I was like, hey, we had good energy, good vibes right from the rip.
Yes.
And then as the night progressed, I had so many fucking people against me, and out of everyone, this guy stood up for me, and he made sure that he was like, yo, what you're doing to this girl is really fucked up and wrong. He was like, that's not right. Long story short, I gave my all with this boxing match. When you box, you're not supposed to do MMA, you're not supposed to do, anything that's not other than boxing, hitting below the belt, kicking in the badge. The referee let Christine get away with not one, not two, not three, but 10 different red flags. I just kept eating it. This gentleman stood up and he was like, yo, that's fucked up. Damon, say something. And Damon he was getting hype. He was saying things. And Damon, by the way, is Damon Feldman. He is the orchestrator, the creator, director of celebrity boxing. But at the end of the day, I won the fight. And then she threw a fucking tantrum, which we never seen that in boxing before.
I got to tell you, it was so bizarre, Natalie. I'll tell you from my perspective. I'm there hosting, watching the fight, right? This didn't happen until the next day. Like the next day I'm leaving, right? And I just reached out to Christine, who had hired me and brought me in to do this show. And she didn't want to, I just wanted to say thank you. And all she wanted to say was, that's my belt. That's my belt. I won the fight. I won the fight. I wasn't even calling about that. Now, the fight, we should say, was ruled a draw. And Christine used a lot of tactics that weren't boxing tactics. You were the crisper, by far the better boxer. She was trying to put you in a headlock and as you said, punching you in the badge and all this craziness. But I have never seen this before. And I mean, here in Florida, I'm in the Florida Hall of Fame, MMA Hall of Fame. I was inducted in 2017 for my contributions as a competitor, as a coach, as a broadcaster, as a cornerman, even done some refereeing. So I've worn every hat you could wear in combat sports, and I never saw this before. I never saw a competitor say, I won, it's my belt. Normally, a promoter who's fighting on their own promotion, which you're not supposed to do anyway, is not that blatant about it. This was her own promotion.
Let me tell you something about me, right? And this is like a little bit off subject. But if I don't like you and you're a pretty girl, you're a fucking pretty girl. I don't discredit nobody. And if you beat my ass, you beat my ass. Because I know how to, sometimes you take an L in life. And a lot of us that have won, that came from losing. All right? So I keep the same fucking momentum. With me, I'm not a sore loser. There's a couple losses you got to take in life. And I'm okay with it because there's always going to be a prettier, smarter girl. And there's always going to be a stronger girl. And I would have been okay with being like, that was the bitch. But that wasn't the bitch that was going to fucking do it. Sorry. Absolutely not. She was a good businesswoman. She was good for money. And she knows how to orchestrate and deal with business. But she's way too in her fucking feelings when it comes to boxing. So the tantrum she threw, bitter bitch syndrome, I went to go give her a pound. Like, come on, after you fight someone, you're supposed to, bring it in, shake on it, so bitter. Even after we had kids that wanted to do meet and greets, and she was like, I don't even want to be next to her. I don't want to be next to her. With everything, iota in me, with every vibe, every minute I took a breath, that was so hard to not just come out of my, composure. With all that being said, it was a trying time for me. But here we are, speed things up. Well, why we're talking about this bitch is because she's now part of it again. So Christine Curran is part of celebrity boxing. She's a behind the scenes type of chick. She's good for bringing in sponsors. She's good for money, maybe extracurricular activities. But with all that being said, in all seriousness, now she's getting other people to be in a position to fight me. For instance, this one girl we did the standoff with, she was 6 foot. 6 foot and 5'3.5", 5'4". What the fuck are we doing? And by the way, I stood up to that bitch like, I'll eat your fucking veins out of your neck. Right? And she was shaking. And I was just ready to fucking just go. Let's do it. Because at the end of the day, I'm fucking 8 foot in my head. So, yeah.
Is that who you're going to be fighting?
No, because now the fight is sanctioned. And by sanctioned rules, it has to be similar weight class, which this bitch has got to put the cheeseburgers down because this one is only like, right now, I've lost a lot of weight. Yeah, thank you. I'm in good shape. I'm ranging between 125 and 128. And I'm going to say that's definitely not this other girl's weight stature. However, she's my height. She is an MMA artist. Never got in the ring before. But I made sure I said, there's no fucking MMA fighting, right? There's no kicking. Because the last one, Christine was kicking me, punching me, doing the elbowing. You can't do that in boxing.
Let's talk about that because a lot of the MMA fighters that have gone into boxing against the Paul brothers, against like Jake Paul, have not done well. Ben Askren, who I know, who's a fellow wrestler, comes from the wrestling background. He got destroyed, knocked out early by Jake Paul, who's a novice. Really.
Technique.
Yeah, exactly. It's boxing. So MMA does not necessarily translate to the boxing ring.
100%. You could actually beat somebody by outsmarting them. And there's ways, for me, I'm going in this completely fucking different, like I never did before. Like, you guys are not seeing me train. Nobody's seeing my footwork right now. Nobody's seeing how I fucking hold my hands. Even my boxing coach is like, you are not to give out too much detail, who you're training with, what you're doing. It's going to be the best fucking unloaded secret that we unload. And people are going to be really fucking wow. This time I'm bringing it. And I've been working with celebrity boxing now. It's about 6 years. So it's time I let these bitches know.
So tell everybody, when is this fight?
This fight is October 2nd. It's going down. And I just want to say one thing. The last press conference I was at, it was, it was 2 weeks ago. We did a standoff with the girl Maria, okay? We had another one we had another stare down standoff because the girls knew and wanted to give her a fair shot, get her momentum up, make sure that she's got the same opportunities with her sponsors and so forth. And she came out with an entourage. She came out with some little jerk off who was talking mad shit from the sidelines. Well, this guy came out with his girlfriend. And when I tell you he must have had a fucking crush on me. Now this girl's starting to stare. She's starting her shit. Before you know it, he's pulling money out of his sock, telling me I got money. And I'm like, listen, buddy, I'm going to tell you something. Guys like you piss on your balls. You have to have the babiest fucking dick in the world because no man in the world that's got, an ounce of class. Not saying that I'm acting classy right now, but I'm just reiterating the night.
Sure.
This piece of shit wants to pull his money out, talk about I'm ready to go to jail any day, wear 2 pairs of socks. So this is where I come into play. My fucking head can't get any bigger. This is all for old little me. Yeah. I'm like, this is all for me. You motherfuckers, you brought a dude that's like 6 foot something to talk smack and think that that's going to trump everything. I'm going to fucking kill you in the ring.
Yeah.
I'm just going to fucking make sure that after I'm done with you, I'm going to drag you the fuck around. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
This is, I got to tell you, Nat, this is like the continuation of your feud with Christine, the stunts that she's pulling those strings.
I can't wait.
I can't wait. Tell everybody when it is. Tell everybody.
So it's October 2nd. It's going down October 2nd. It's going down in Miami. And let me give you all the information that way, because we have changed the location, but now I'm going to tell you exactly where it's at. So I'm exact. How do you feel about Riddick Bowe and fighting? It's Riddick Bowe.
Crazy. I'll tell you, it really bothered me personally to see Evander Holyfield in this last fight.
Oh my God,
against Nico Belfort. He should not have been in there. And that should not have been a sanctioned fight. That fight should not have taken place. And I think with Riddick Bowe, I mean, does he just need the money? I mean, he's done it all. He doesn't need to go out
Two-time
there.
championship. I don't think it's the money. I think it's for me, I think it's Damon likes to be the one, and I love Damon, and he's a good business guy. But let me tell you something, what he loves to do is he wants to be the one that brings you out. He's bringing him out of retirement. And he's doing it. It's happening.
Yeah.
To be able to give Riddick Bowe the start on the spotlight that he deserves, I think that it's time to give him his flowers. So,
You think he should be fighting again?
So, when I watch his speech and his motor skills, like neurologically, like looking at a boxer, he's a little punch drunk.
Yeah, as Evander is as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, like, I know Tim Witherspoon really well, and I know a lot of boxers really well. I've known Tim for probably 12, 13 years now. And from knowing Tim to now, you know, even how they articulate their words, like we could have be in a conversation and all of a sudden they forget. You know, do I think Riddick Bowe should get in the ring? That would be like me being 60 years old and somebody trying to tell me not to. I'm going to do it more.
You're going to do what you want. We're talking about older fighters. We're talking about Riddick Bowe. We're talking about Evander Holyfield, right?
The champions of the world at once upon a time. World champions.
The guy that was never really a champion, but always a contender in MMA. Is an old training partner, friend of mine, client of mine, the New York badass Phil Broom. And he also has a history involved with the life, the Cosa Nostra. His father, and I'm not saying anything that hasn't been already reported. His father was NYPD Gold Star detective who was involved with the Gambino family, who was subpoenaed to testify in the Gotti Jr. trial. Phil Jr., his son, never testified, but he was involved in a lot of scores and robberies. A lot of people know the story. There's been a lot of folklore around it where Phil was stabbed in the back of the head and left New York, went out to Michigan and started his UFC career. So early in Gotti III's career, he called Phil out, given their history with the family, with the Gambino family, and with Gotti Jr., his father, and Phil and his father. Now, I wanted to get that fight going. So Phil and I were doing a show at the Showboat in Atlantic City, and we did a press conference to call out Gotti III for this fight. And we haven't gotten a response back. I've actually talked to the promotion he signed with. They're very interested, but they feel like his father, Gotti Jr., is not interested in doing this at all because of the history with Phil's father, you know,
right.
testifying.
Well,
so
I get that.
You know.
So it's hard because, like, all right, so Phil did testify?
No, not the fighter, but his father. Yeah.
So
his father.
The fighter
was involved in a lot of scores and robberies. He was involved with.
And the father snitched.
The father was actually he was subpoenaed, and now when he testified, Phil always said his dad never ratted because his dad basically said he didn't know anything. It was involving a couple murders. His dad basically claimed he didn't know anything on the stand. So, but as you know, just the fact of testifying is not,
So this is the thing. You get on the stand, you're a rat.
Yeah, even if you don't spill the beans on the stand.
Because there's a side conversation and there's momentum that gets to the point where, I mean, under oath, he doesn't say anything, fine, but there's still things like, I'm never talking to the boys in blue.
Yeah.
You're involved. Yeah. Are you talking to the boys in blue?
No, yeah. But let me ask you this. What do you think, given the history for this fight?
It's going to be a fucking it's a bloodbath.
Yeah.
It's a fucking bloodbath. Do you know have you had this conversation with any type of promotions? Like
yeah, there's the promoter that wants to do it is actually the promotion that Gotti III is managed by wants to do it.
I mean,
he himself, Gotti III, called Phil out, given his history. His father apparently doesn't want him to do it. That's what we've been told.
Sure, I'm sure he doesn't want him to do it.
Doesn't want him to fight him. But we feel like this could be a huge
Oh,
fight.
it could be a big
Given the
payday.
history, yeah.
It could be a rival fucking,
That's, that's a rivalry you don't see in fighting. It's a
You don't.
big
Well,
rivalry.
back in the day, boxing would have really, really good lead up to, like, you would be on the tip of your seat waiting for those Tyson fights.
Yeah.
Or even like, remember the Prince? What was his name?
I know who you're talking about.
Hector Camacho.
Macho Camacho.
He
Yes.
was, I liked him. He was an asshole because he was so obnoxious, but I loved him.
Oh, yeah.
Even watching him, I'd be on the tip of my seat.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month to watch our full shoot interviews ad-free and help our channel grow. Follow us on Twitter at the Hannibal TV for instant updates.